The year was 2342, and humanity had finally, truly made it. Not to the stars as conquerors, nor as dominant economic powers, but as a tenacious, adaptable, and surprisingly influential minor player in the vast cosmic tapestry. Our FTL drives, refined over centuries, were efficient, if not blisteringly fast. Our terraforming techniques were unparalleled, having turned barren Martian deserts into verdant plains and allowing colonies to flourish on worlds that other species deemed uninhabitable. We were known for our resilience, our boundless curiosity, and perhaps most importantly, our seemingly irrational optimism in the face of impossible odds. Earth, lovingly restored, and now a sprawling biodome of interconnected megacities and rewilded continents, served as the serene heart of the Terran sphere. Beyond it, 100 settled worlds and twice as many mining outposts dotted the local arm of the Milky Way, a testament to our insatiable drive to explore and expand. But our true defining characteristic, the one that would soon redefine our place in the galaxy, wasn't our starships or our nascent AI networks. It was our stubborn, almost obsessive, commitment to cleaning up our messes. It began, as most truly monumental discoveries do, with something mundane. Dr. Eris Thorne, a senior astrobiologist at the Kepler 186F research outpost, was having a very bad day. His automated nebular particulate filters, designed to protect the outpost's sensitive atmospheric scrubbers from ambient cosmic dust, were constantly clogging. Not just clogging, but choking. What should have been a quarterly maintenance check had become a weekly, then daily ritual. It's like someone's dumping their lint trap directly into our orbit. He grumbled to his AI assistant, Unit 7, as he manually scraped a thick, greasy-looking film from a filter array. The film wasn't normal cosmic dust. It was too uniform, too metallic, too synthetic. Unit 7, ever precise, projected spectroscopic analysis results onto his holoscreen. Anomaly detected, Doctor. Spectrographic signature does not correlate with known interstellar particulate matter. High concentrations of complex silicates, polymerized hydrocarbons, and trace amounts of exotic isotopes, consistent with waste products. Eris frowned. Waste products? From what? A forgotten space station exploding? That's a lot of waste for a single incident. He ordered a deep space probe to sample the incoming currents. The results were disturbing. The anomalous dust wasn't localized. It was a faint, pervasive haze, originating from deep within the Perseus arm, flowing slowly but inexorably towards their region of space. It was like a silent, invisible tide of galactic refuse. His report, initially dismissed as an overzealous astrobiologist's alarmism, slowly gained traction. Other Terran outposts, particularly those near established trade routes, began reporting similar issues. Navigational sensors occasionally encountered patches of phantom interference that turned out to be unusually dense clouds of this synthetic dust. Starship engines reported slight inefficiencies, requiring more frequent maintenance due to microscopic abrasion from the pervasive particles. It was Commander Eva Rostova, head of the Terran Interstellar Fleet's Long-Range Reconnaissance Division, who put the pieces together. Her deep space probes, equipped with next-generation hyperscanners, had begun to pick up faint but undeniable signs of this cosmic lint stretching not just across the Perseus arm, but across entire sectors. It wasn't a local phenomenon. It was everywhere. It's like a galactic smog, Eva explained during a highly classified briefing to the Terran Council. Her holoscreen displayed a map of the Milky Way, with faint, shimmering red lines tracing the dust's insidious tendrils. Old starship trails, industrial exhaust, discarded terraforming byproducts. It's been accumulating for millennia. Too diffuse to be a solid object. Too widespread to be localized. But it's there, and it's slowly getting denser. The implications were chilling. This was cosmic pollution on an unimaginable scale. It wasn't just clogging filters. It was subtly dimming distant nebulae, interfering with nascent star formation, and potentially even impacting the long-term stability of galactic currents. It was the universe's slow-motion environmental catastrophe, invisible to most, ignored by others, and now accidentally stumbled upon by the species that couldn't stop picking up litter. Humanity, being humanity, immediately tried to warn everyone. Diplomatic vessels were dispatched to the major galactic powers, the stoic, crystalline Xylos, masters of energy manipulation, the ancient, bioengineered Thalian hegemony, living in harmony with their sentient starships, the pragmatic, hyper-capitalist Cthar collective, whose entire civilization revolved around resource extraction, and the enigmatic, reclusive Lumina, beings of pure light. The reactions were, predictably, disheartening. The Xylos, with their vast energy conduits and particle accelerators, simply didn't register the problem. The cosmic dust you speak of is below our minimum actionable particulate threshold. A Xylos ambassador, a shimmering pyramid of light and sound, communicated through a universal translator. Our energy fields dissipate such trivialities. Perhaps your filtration systems require an upgrade. They saw it not as an environmental threat, but a Terran technological deficiency. Their solutions were always about more power, more refinement, more control. This diffuse, low-energy problem was beneath their notice. The Thalian hegemony, proud of their biointegration, were equally dismissive. Our vessels are sentient ecosystems. A Thalian elder, a being resembling a colossal, floating jellyfish with myriad glowing tendrils, pulsed in response. They absorb and integrate all ambient matter. We are part of the galactic flow, not separate from it. What you perceive as pollution is merely unprocessed cosmic material. The galaxy reclaims all things in time. Their philosophy was one of deep, patient natural cycles, and they believed the cosmos would inevitably cleanse itself, given enough eons. To them, human intervention was almost sacrilege. The Cthar collective, after performing a rapid cost-benefit analysis, simply shrugged their multi-jointed shoulders. The projected economic impact of this smog on our current mining operations is negligible for the next standard cycle. A Cthar trade baron clicked. Should it become profitable to clean it, we will develop a service. Until then, our resources are better spent extracting precious alloys from asteroid fields. Their universe was quantified in profit margins, and there was no market for galactic cleanup. The Lumina, true to their nature, offered no direct response. Their embassy, a pulsating orb of pure light, simply absorbed the human delegation's plea, offering neither affirmation nor denial. Some humans and linguists theorized that the Lumina communicated on planes too abstract for concrete concepts like pollution. Others suspected they simply didn't care. They just don't get it. Commander Rostova slammed her fist on a holographic table. They're too advanced, too specialized, or too complacent. They've developed hyper-efficient technologies that produce little local waste, so they've never had to deal with the cumulative, diffuse garbage of civilizations past. It's like asking a fish to notice the humidity. Dr. Eris Thorne nodded gravely. Or they've developed solutions so elegant, so seamless, that they've forgotten the underlying problem. Imagine if every species had their own localized garbage disposal unit that simply disappeared waste. They wouldn't notice if the whole galactic sewer system was backing up. The Terran Council debated for weeks. Some argued for focusing solely on protecting Terran space, developing even more advanced filters. Others suggested a long-term research initiative, hoping to develop a high-tech solution that even the Xylos would envy. But it was Ambassador Lena Petrova, a veteran diplomat with a quiet strength, who spoke the words that shifted the paradigm. "We have always been the scavengers, haven't we?" she mused, gazing at the star-studded projection. "We rose from a planet choked by its own industry. We learned to reuse, to recycle, to adapt. We perfected terraforming not just by building new worlds, but by repairing old ones. Perhaps the galaxy doesn't need a grand, elegant, high-tech solution. Perhaps it needs a janitor." A hush fell over the chamber. The idea was almost ludicrous. Humanity, the relatively junior species, the one still struggling with its own planetary problems just a few centuries ago, becoming the cosmic cleanup crew. It flew in the face of every grand vision of galactic conquest or scientific supremacy. "What exactly would this janitorial work entail, Ambassador?" asked one council member, a skeptical eyebrow raised. Lena smiled. It means we start small. We start with what we know. We clean up our own backyard, and then, if we can, we help others clean theirs. And we use the only technologies we truly excel at: ingenuity, persistence, and, surprisingly, a little bit of dirt. The Cosmic Janitorial Initiative began not with fanfare, but with the quiet hum of laboratories and the subtle shimmer of newly forged alloys. There were no grand fleets of hyperscrubbers, no energy blasts disintegrating vast clouds of particles. Instead, the approach was surprisingly organic. The first significant breakthrough emerged from the bioengineering division, led by Dr. Evelyn Reed, a woman whose hands seemed perpetually stained with exotic microbial cultures. Her team had spent decades cultivating extremophile microorganisms capable of metabolizing the most stubborn heavy metals and polymers. Her proposal was audacious: engineer a bespoke microorganism capable of eating the synthetic cosmic dust. These particles are complex, certainly, Dr. Reed explained, her voice steady against the committee's murmurs of skepticism. But they are fundamentally just molecular arrangements. Carbon, silicon, hydrocarbons. If we can engineer a self-replicating, robust, and critically harmless extremophile that can specifically break down these bonds and convert them into an inert, stable byproduct, say, elemental carbon or even trace oxygen, we might have a diffuse, self-sustaining cleaning agent. The idea of releasing bioengineered organisms into the interstellar medium was met with legitimate fear. The Thalians, if they'd understood, would have considered it an act of cosmic desecration. But humanity had a long, if sometimes messy, history with bioremediation. The key was exhaustive testing and fail-safes. Years passed in a blur of genetic sequencing, simulated vacuum chambers, and rigorous containment protocols. The result was Omnivorax Stelli, or Star Eater. These microscopic marvels were bio-nanobot hybrids, designed with built-in redundancies. They were programmed to be inert in high concentrations, self-limiting in their lifespan and reproduction once their specific food source diminished, and utterly incapable of interacting with known organic life or existing planetary biospheres. Their waste product was simply inert, elemental carbon, slowly clumping into harmless macroparticles that could eventually be captured by stellar winds or absorbed by nascent nebulae. Concurrently, another team, comprised of seasoned deep space salvage operators and orbital mechanics savants, revived an ancient concept, the solar sail. But not for propulsion. These were for herding. Think of it like a cosmic fishing net, but for dust, explained Captain Yarek Kowalski, a gruff engineer with a mischievous glint in his eye. We deploy vast, gossamer-thin solar sails, many kilometers wide, in precise orbital patterns, not to capture the dust directly, but to use the subtle pressure of solar winds and minute gravitational perturbations to gently herd it. We create slow, deliberate currents that concentrate the diffuse particles into denser, more manageable clouds. These cosmic herders, as they were affectionately called, were agonizingly slow. Moving a cloud of dust the size of a gas giant could take years, even decades. But they were incredibly cheap to deploy, required minimal energy input, mostly just stellar radiation, and were surprisingly resilient to micrometeoroid impacts. They were also eerily beautiful, shimmering like colossal, ethereal jellyfish in the galactic darkness. Once concentrated, the dust clouds weren't vacuumed up. They became targets for the third pillar of humanity's low-tech arsenal, the matter recyclers. These were autonomous, self-replicating 3D printers, but with a unique twist. They used the concentrated cosmic dust as their raw material. We don't clean the dust in the traditional sense, said Dr. Anya Sharma, lead designer of the matter recyclers. We transform it. The recyclers use localized energy fields to compress, and then molecularly restructure the dust, reforming it into stable, useful materials. Anything from advanced alloys for habitat components to new matter recyclers themselves. We are turning galactic trash into galactic resources, one particle at a time. The genius of this approach lay in its decentralization and inherent sustainability. The Omnivorax Stelli worked silently on the diffuse dust. The cosmic herders slowly gathered the larger, more scattered clouds. The matter recyclers then consumed these concentrated clouds, not only eliminating them, but also generating useful materials and, crucially, more recyclers or more herders, creating a self-perpetuating, self-expanding cleaning cycle. It was an ecological solution to cosmic waste management, mirroring natural planetary processes, but on a truly galactic scale. Initial deployment was met with predictable condescension. A Xylos observation vessel, detecting a single, shimmering solar sail, logged it as an insignificant Terra novelty. The Thalians, sensing the initial biosignatures of the omnivorax stelae, issued grave warnings about potential invasive species, only to be baffled when the organisms behaved exactly as Terran scientists predicted, inert and self-limiting after their work was done. The Kthar collective, after calculating zero immediate profit, simply ignored the peculiar human antics, viewing them as a curious, harmless hobby. But humanity, with its characteristic stubbornness, persevered. Generations of Terrans were trained as cosmic janitors. They weren't starship admirals or hyper-engineers. They were orbital mechanics, bioengineers, material scientists, and environmental data analysts, all working with a quiet dedication to fine-tune the omnivorax, optimize the herding patterns of solar sails, and enhance the efficiency of the matter recyclers. It was the galactic equivalent of meticulously, endlessly, cleaning a vast, ancient attic, one dust bunny at a time. For decades, the Cosmic Janitorial Initiative remained a background hum in the grand symphony of galactic civilization. Human vessels, often indistinguishable from mundane freighters or deep space probes, would silently deploy their delicate solar sails or release their invisible packets of omnivorax stelae. They kept meticulous logs, charting the infinitesimal ebb and flow of the synthetic cosmic dust. The work was arduous, often thankless, and progress was measured in percentages that seemed almost too small to matter. Then, imperceptibly at first, things began to shift. The first faint whispers came from the Kthar collective. Their long-range mining fleets, pushing deeper into previously unviable nebulae, began reporting slightly clearer sensor readings. The persistent phantom interference that had plagued their automated drilling operations for centuries seemed to be lessening. A minor statistical anomaly, their analysts concluded, easily dismissed, and they continued their relentless pursuit of profit. Next, the Thalian hegemony. Their sentient starships, inherently attuned to the subtle energies and flows of the cosmos, started to sense a profound shift. Nebulae that had been subtly dimming, their ancient energy signatures weakening over countless eons, seemed to pulse with the renewed, albeit faint, vibrancy. Ancient Thalian prophecies spoke of a cosmic stagnation, a slow entropic decay that would eventually consume all light. This subtle reversal, though barely perceptible to their conscious minds, caused a ripple of unease and profound curiosity among their elders. It defied their deep understanding of natural galactic cycles. But it was the Xylos, with their unparalleled precision and their civilization-defining reliance on energy monitoring, who made the undeniable, jarring discovery. A core Xylos ritual revolved around the annual stellar alignment, a complex and vital energy transfer between specific pulsars and nebulae, a process they had perfected over countless millennia to sustain the very fabric of their crystalline civilization. For the past 2 centuries, this alignment had become progressively more difficult, demanding ever-increasing energy input. They had attributed this to galactic drift, subtle gravitational anomalies, anything but a fundamental problem with the medium itself. This cycle, however, something was dramatically different. The energy transfer was smoother, unprecedentedly so. Their quantum resonance detectors, designed to pick up even the most minute anomalies, registered a consistent, pervasive reduction in ambient background interference. It was as if a thick, invisible veil had been slowly lifted from the galactic currents, allowing pure energy to flow unimpeded. The Xylos initiated a full-spectrum, deep space analysis, deploying their most sensitive long-range probes. Their colossal data processors churned through petabytes of information, cross-referencing millennia of astronomical observations with their current, bewildering readings. And then they found it. A distinct, statistically significant, and accelerating decrease in the very particulate matter the Terrans had warned them about centuries ago. Not only that, but their advanced sensors now detected faint, almost imperceptible, signatures of the very low-tech solutions the Terrans had described, colossal, shimmering solar sails moving with geological slowness, faint, self-dissipating biosignatures indicative of the Star Eaters breaking down complex polymers, and subtle energy fluctuations consistent with localized matter recycling, repurposing the very dust they had so recently dismissed. The Xylos ambassador, a different, more junior pyramid of light than the one Eris Thorn had first encountered, materialized abruptly in the Terran Council chamber. Its light pulsed with an intensity that bordered on distress, an emotion rarely seen in Xylos. We have rigorously analyzed your long-term data. It resonated, its voice now tinged with an unfamiliar note of profound bewilderment. The particulate reduction, the corresponding increase in energy transfer efficiency. It is statistically inconceivable. How have you achieved this with such rudimentary methods? Ambassador Petrova, now a venerable elder with silver hair, simply smiled, a quiet knowing in her eyes. We cleaned up, one dust bunny at a time. The Xylos were utterly confounded. Their civilization was built on grand, elegant, high-energy solutions, on the control of vast cosmic forces. The notion that tiny, persistent, decentralized efforts could achieve such monumental results was anathema to their logic. It was like watching a mountain erode not from a single, powerful laser, but from trillions of raindrops, patiently, relentlessly. Word rippled through the galactic community like wildfire. The Xylos, rarely if ever mistaken, had unequivocally confirmed the Terran claims. The cosmic smog was real, and the peculiar humans, the cosmic janitors, were actually fixing it. The Kthar collective, always driven by the cold calculus of profit, suddenly saw staggering numbers. Clearer space meant less wear and tear on their starships, more efficient energy transfers, and vast new mining opportunities in previously obscured nebulae. They dispatched envoys to Earth, not for charity, but for licenses. We wish to acquire the schematics for your cosmic herders. The Kthar trade baron clicked, an almost desperate urgency in its voice, and perhaps a profitable franchise opportunity for the Star Eaters within our corporate sectors. The Thalian hegemony, realizing that the cosmic stagnation was indeed being reversed by these subtle, persistent interventions, dispatched their most sensitive deep space probes to observe the Terran operations directly. They watched the gentle, almost artistic movements of the solar sails, the slow, symbiotic work of the omnivораx, and the quiet repurposing of matter. They began to understand that true harmony with nature wasn't just about passive integration, but also about active, intelligent, and patient stewardship. They offered ancient knowledge of galactic currents and biospiritual flows, hoping to optimize the human efforts. The Lumina, still enigmatic, sent a single, faint, extraordinarily beautiful pulse of resonant light towards Earth. The Terran xenolinguists, after much debate, interpreted it as gratitude. Humanity's standing in the galaxy underwent a seismic, exhilarating shift. No longer merely a resilient minor species, they proudly embraced the moniker the Cosmic Janitors, a title initially intended as a sarcastic jab by a Kthar journalist, but one humanity wore with characteristic self-deprecating humor and profound pride. They had achieved what no elder civilization had deemed necessary, or even truly possible. They had quietly, patiently, cleaned up the cumulative waste of millennia, not with grand gestures, but with consistent, humble action. The demand for human expertise skyrocketed across the stars. Every major galactic power clamored for their own cosmic janitorial fleet. The Terran Council, however, was shrewd and deeply principled. They didn't simply hand over their hard-won technologies as a commodity. Instead, they offered comprehensive training programs, established collaborative partnerships, and, crucially, insisted on a fundamental shift in mindset. It is not about a sudden, high-tech miracle or simply acquiring a new tool, Ambassador Petrova explained to bewildered Xylos diplomats and impatient Kthar entrepreneurs. It is about understanding the delicate interconnectedness of the galaxy. It is about taking collective responsibility for our shared cosmic footprint. It is about the power of persistence over brute force, and the elegance of simplicity over overwhelming complexity. These tools are extensions of philosophy. Humanity began to teach the galaxy how to think like an ecosystem. They showed the Xylos how to subtly integrate minute, bioengineered particles into their colossal energy conduits, allowing for passive scrubbing of residual waste without disruption to their refined processes. They demonstrated to the Kthar how to creatively repurpose mining byproducts into valuable construction materials, fostering circular economies where waste ceased to exist and instead became a resource. They collaborated with the Thalians to develop predictive models for nascent pollution hotspots before they could bloom into significant problems, working with the flow of galactic life rather than against it. The cultural exchange that followed was profound and transformative. Alien species, long accustomed to top-down, grand-scale, energy-intensive solutions, were utterly fascinated by humanity's decentralized, community-driven, and patiently iterative approach. They learned about the quiet satisfaction of meticulous recycling, the art of resourceful repurposing, and the profound dignity found in long-term, patient work. Humanity, in turn, absorbed advanced material science from the Xylos, sophisticated bioengineering techniques from the Thalians, and incredibly efficient logistical optimization from the Kthar, enriching their own methods. New galactic institutions began to emerge, spearheaded by Terran diplomats and scientists, but with truly diverse representation. The Galactic Environmental Stewardship Council was formed, dedicated to comprehensive mapping of cosmic pollution, collaborative sharing of sustainable cleaning technologies, and the promotion of interstellar practices that honored the vast, living cosmos. Humanity didn't seek to dominate it, but their practical, persistent philosophy and their low-tech methods became its very foundation, guiding principles for a new era of galactic responsibility. The galaxy, slowly, incrementally, began to heal. Nebulae, once shrouded, regained their vibrant, ethereal hues, pulsing with renewed energy. Star formation, once subtly impeded by the pervasive dust, picked up pace, birthing new stellar nurseries. Interstellar travel became marginally smoother, sensor readings clearer, and cosmic communications sharper, the noise reduced by the slow cleansing. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic, Hollywood-esque transformation. It was the slow, steady, persistent improvement of a vast, ancient, living system, a testament to the power of sustained, humble effort. And the reason it worked was uniquely human. It wasn't just the ingenious omnivораx stelae or the colossal cosmic herders. It was the human capacity to recognize a problem others dismissed as insignificant or natural, to persist in the face of profound skepticism, to find elegant solutions in the mundane, and to embrace a role that was humble but utterly essential. It was the willingness to get their hands dirty, even if dirty meant microscopic particles drifting through the vacuum of space for centuries. Centuries flowed by like currents of cosmic dust, now significantly cleaner, weaving new patterns across the void. Humanity, no longer a junior species, but a respected and integral thread in the galactic tapestry, continued its quiet, diligent work. The Cosmic Janitorial Initiative evolved from a distinct program into a pervasive galactic philosophy, deeply woven into the fabric of Terran interstellar operations and increasingly adopted by other species as a core tenet of responsible expansion. On a newly terraformed exoplanet nestled on the galactic frontier, vibrant with the blush of an emerging biosphere, a young human xenobotanist, Lara Vance, meticulously cataloged the newly introduced flora thriving in the flourishing alien forest. Her companion, a venerable Thalian bioengineer named Klar, extended a translucent tendril to a glowing, symbiotic flower, its bioluminescence a testament to the planet's renewed health and the crystalline clarity of the surrounding space. "It is truly difficult to comprehend," Klar pulsed, its voice resonating with eons of ancient wisdom, that just 2 centuries ago, this entire sector was shrouded, dimmed, choked. The nascent stars here struggled to ignite, their light dulled by the pervasive haze. We believed it was the natural decay of the universe, a slow, inevitable descent into cold entropy, a cosmic fate. Alara smiled, letting a handful of rich, dark soil sift through her fingers, feeling the cool, alien grit. We used to think the same about our own planet, Klar, back when we were still learning how to live in balance with it. We had our own great dimming, our own choking ages. But we learned, often through painful lessons, and we learned that even the smallest, most patient efforts, repeated over and over, can turn the tide of what seems like cosmic despair or inevitable decline. Clara's tendril gestured vaguely at the distant, sparkling nebulae beyond the planet's shimmering atmosphere, now visibly more brilliant, their colors richer. Your star-eaters, your cosmic herders, they were so profoundly simple in their conception, so patiently applied. We, with our mastery of stellar energies, our ability to manipulate planetary orbits and shift gravitational fields, never conceived of such granular, persistent solutions. Our minds, perhaps, were too accustomed to seeking the grand gesture, the swift, powerful stroke, the immediate, elegant command. Sometimes, Alara replied, her gaze fixed on the endless, sparkling canvas of stars, a testament to countless small victories. The biggest problems aren't fixed with the biggest hammers or the most elegant equations. Sometimes, to clean a universe, to heal a vast ecosystem, you simply need a very, very good broom, and the enduring patience, the collective will, to use it, day after cosmic day, cycle after galactic cycle. The universe, in its infinite, unfolding complexity, was revealed not as a sterile, mechanical clockwork, but as a vast, vibrant, unseen tapestry of light and life, intricately interwoven. And humanity, with its humble tools and persistent hands, had discovered that they were among the quiet menders of its frayed edges, the meticulous custodians ensuring its enduring vibrancy. They were the cosmic janitors, not announcing their presence with a roar of overwhelming power or a flash of groundbreaking invention, but with the quiet, persistent hum of a million self-replicating nanobots, the gentle, almost imperceptible push of a solar sail, and the unwavering, distinctly human resolve of a species that simply refused to let mess go uncleaned, no matter how vast, how ancient, or how seemingly insurmountable. The galaxy continued its grand, intricate dance of stars and civilizations, but now it danced a little cleaner, radiated a little brighter, breathed a little more freely, its currents flowing with renewed vitality. This subtle but profound change was all thanks to the species that saw the dust in the gears and decided, simply, to pick up a broom. And in doing so, they had not just saved the galaxy from a slow, silent decay, but had shown it a new, profound path forward, one where even the smallest, most overlooked efforts, imbued with persistence, ingenuity, and a genuine spirit of stewardship, could create the most monumental and lasting change. The work was endless, the cosmos ever evolving, but humanity, the cosmic janitor, had always been good at endless work, finding meaning and purpose in the continuous act of making things just a little bit better. This story is a testament to humanity's unique spirit, our ingenuity, persistence, and the quiet power of simple solutions. What else are we ignoring in our own world, large or small? How can our collective low-tech efforts create profound change right here, right now?